what's up? Thanks for clicking on this video. If you don't know me and you're new around here, I'm Topher Wheels. I make motorcycle content here on YouTube. So what does happen if you ride a wheelie past a flock camera? Probably nothing, but it's not just about that. And what it is about might scare you a little bit, and I hope that it does. In this video, I'm gonna tell you what flock cameras are, what they're used for, who has access to them, what kind of data they collect, and why all of that is so scary.
Flock's solar-powered cameras use artificial intelligence to detect the make, model, and color of every car that passes by. And what sets Flock apart from other systems, the data is saved in a searchable, nationwide database.
These are bad. These are real bad. In theory, it sounds good, right? Put up cameras everywhere. Some bad guys rob a bank. You know which way they went. But at what cost, guys? At what cost? At what point are we willing to accept the fact that as soon as we leave our homes, thanks to Flock Safety, our every single move is tracked? And what do I mean by that? Well, you pass by a Flock camera, immediately your license plate is tagged. Your car is tagged. Black Honda Civic, damaged right rear bumper, tinted windows, chrome rims, any statistic you can think about your vehicle or bike, blah, 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 is logged into a database, and pretty much nothing happens. That sits there for an indeterminate amount of time until someone decides to query that database. Show me all black Honda Civics with a damaged right rear bumper with chrome rims that were out and about in XYZ city between July 4th and July 7th in the evening. Thanks to AI and thanks to this massive central database where all these Flock cameras are linked together and everything's recorded, this is now queryable. These things are creepier than more people know, man. All right, so I just cruised by a Flock camera. What did it get me on? Well, for one, it just logged my license plate. Where'd that dang thing go? It fell off again, dude. Freaking third time this week. I can't believe that. Well, they didn't get my license plate, so that's great, right? I'm good. No. I'm probably not good. When you pass these things, they're building a profile. Sure, license plate, that's a part of it. That's a pretty big part of it. That's an easy part of it for people to identify, to query against, et cetera, et cetera. But there's plenty of other identifying things about my vehicle, or me, since I sit on the outside of my vehicle or on top of my vehicle. Black dirt bike, incredibly gorgeous male, gray helmet, goggles, killer man purse. This is how I look a lot of the time I ride. So that license plate doesn't matter too much with these cameras. It's more about any identifying factor that the AI can deduce about your vehicle and you, and then it's about patterns. One camera on a pole, it just gets a picture of you in your car or your bike. 100 cameras on a pole in your city, that's where they can start correlating patterns. Without my plate, the Flock AI system doesn't know, oh, there goes Topher Wheels on his jalopy, but it does start to put together, hey, there's that guy. There's that guy with that man purse on that black bike. Probability of being on a wheelie, 97%. And that's the problem, guys. You go by one of those cameras, it gets all those factors about you and your vehicle. It knows which way you were going, which cameras you passed, and it can start to build a pattern. It's tracking you throughout your city. Not necessarily like a GPS beacon on a map, but they know your patterns, your habits. Think about it next time you drive to work. How many of those cameras do you pass? These guys just by default know where a good majority of the people at this point live, work, where they go, where they eat. They know so much about you. They collect so much data. And that's why I talk about at what cost. At what cost? Do cameras help solve crimes? Probably. I'm not here to argue that. I'm not anti-safety. I'm just anti-being tracked by default by some evil company. There are well over 100 of these things around my town, and they're strategically placed. They're on the main arteries through town. They're on the outskirts of town, so they know who's coming, who's going. That data, Flock says, typically is kept for 30 days, and then I guess it's gone. They also are kind of vague about that retention period. It kind of alludes that it could be up to various municipalities, police departments, etc. on what that retention policy is. Most people, it probably doesn't matter, right? You go into a database, and then if there's no queries ran against you, no one ever even knows you passed that thing. The problem is that they can query it. So about tracking you, they mentioned something called a hot list, and essentially what that is a police department or another agency can put in a description into Flock's system, a query, and they can say, I'm looking for a vehicle with this license plate. That's probably the easiest. Or again, going back to the Honda Civic, I'm looking for a black Honda Civic, damaged right rear bumper, chrome rims. Tell me when you find it right now. Then your good old Honda Civic goes out and cruises past the Flock Safety camera. Being immediately, that agency who's looking for that vehicle description is notified. Think of how many of these things that there are. They're all over the place. So you go by one, you go by another, you go by another. They're getting pings all the while. They can follow you if they want to. It's no problem for them once this infrastructure's in place. And part of the problem with that is that these Flock cameras have verifiably been misused in the past.
Prosecutors say Josue Ayala, a Milwaukee police officer at the time, illegally tracked an ex-girlfriend and her romantic partner, searching their license plates 179 times in the department's Flock Safety cameras last year.
Oh, we just wheelied past one. I wonder what's gonna happen, guys. There we go. Oh, there's another one. Look, they got me. There goes Topher Wheels with his killer man purse. AI makes mistakes. There are at least a few situations that I can just think of off the top of my head where Flock's system has made an error, whether it transposed a letter or a number on someone's license plate and hit on the wrong person, and the police went to their house.
On a September day, an officer showed up at Chrisanna Elser's door.
I just thought that maybe there was something going on with a neighbor.
Sergeant Jamie Milliman of the Columbine Valley Police Department accused her of being a package thief and said he had the Flock camera footage and doorbell video to prove it.
There was a theft of a package from, like I said, we have cameras everywhere in that town. You can't get a breath of fresh air in or out without us noise. Right. You know the quality on the camera doorbell you have. Yep. I've got that on my phone right now of you taking that back. Video if you go to court, you can. If you're going to deny it, I'm not going to extend you any courtesy.
The sergeant gave her a citation and left.
And essentially had this picture in their mind that this is the person that's guilty, wouldn't even listen to them. And you know what? They were wrong. The system was wrong. So not only are you being tracked, you're also in jeopardy of a system, an AI model, a query affecting your life. It goes from a camera on a pole to you on the side of the road being searched because there was an error in a system. I'm not cool with that, guys, and I hope that you're not either. If you're not against tracking by default, maybe you are against the misuse of these cameras, because the more people that can access these things, the more chances that there is for this system to be abused. It's just humans. There's not many stopgaps in place. If you have a log into the system, you can pretty well look up what you want. The other issue is just blatant misuse by other agencies.
Illinois leaders say a sheriff's office near Dallas tapped in to more than 83,000 license plate readers nationwide, looking for a woman they say had a self-administered abortion in Texas.
This technology is too powerful for us mortal humans. We shouldn't have it, and it shouldn't exist because we'll abuse it. Okay, so that's misuse. Whatever, we know it's going to happen. The next thing that I think people are cloudy on is who has access to these things anyway? Who owns them? Who can buy these things? The answer is kind of anybody. You don't need to be a police agency to purchase a Flock camera or a network of Flock cameras. We're talking private companies, private businesses, neighborhoods, HOAs, schools. Flock will sell these things to anybody. Yeah, is their bread and butter probably police agencies? I'm gonna say so, because when I look at their website, that seems to be what most of their marketing is geared toward. Now we get into this, well, who can access whose data? Can Walmart query the police's data? No, but here's the fun thing. Walmart absolutely has the option to share their Flock data with agencies, so they can say, well, we want to share this with the local police, or we want to share this with any agency. They can do that. Your HOA, they're probably going to say yes to this. Why wouldn't they? They're like, yeah, why won't we share our data? We want our streets to be safe. And that just broadens the government's reach into your life. Now your police department didn't even have to pay for this network of cameras. They're getting all the data from these cameras on private property, and there's not a thing that you can do about it. If you've ever seen one of these things, you probably remember seeing it and being like, huh, that wasn't there last time. Why do these things always seem to pop up overnight? I swear. I've never in my life seen someone installing a Flock safety camera. I'm not saying it doesn't happen during the day. This is just me talking out of my own ass. But why do you think they're putting these things up when no one's noticing? Probably at night. You think maybe because municipalities don't want their citizens to know that these things are going up? They're hoping they're just going to see a camera on a pole and be like, all right, security camera, sure. They don't want you to know what these things do. Why didn't it seem like these were as big of a deal before they were going up? Why didn't I get a letter saying like, hey, we're putting up Flock cameras around the city. Why don't you come to this town hall meeting and we'll explain what they're about, what they do, who can access the data, what do they collect, etc., etc. Nah, that didn't happen. Flock Safety isn't in the business of safety. Flock Safety is in the business of data. And the data is you. The data is you, your description, your movements. What do? Your habits. What's that sound a lot like? Sounds a lot like how you're tracked with cookies and stuff on the internet. If you think for 1 second that Flock isn't going to use this data to benefit financially, you're wrong. They will. They say that they don't, and they say that they won't, but I know giant evil corporations, and they're probably going to. They'll sell it to advertisers. The more data that advertisers have on you, the more targeted and specific that they can make their ads. Don't you feel like ads have already gotten specific enough? Like when I'm talking about ordering pizza and then I suddenly get a notification to order pizza on my phone. I used to tell people a lot when they come up to me and say, man, I swear my phone's listening to everything that I say because I'm getting ads for this or that. I'd be like, bro, you're crazy. There's no way your phone's actually listening to you. You need to take your tinfoil hat off and like go take a break. But now I do wonder. I still have my doubts, but I do wonder. But you know what I don't have my doubts about? Flock Safety is a bad company and they need to be stopped. So you might ask yourself, well, Topher Wheels, what the heck can I do about all these Flock safety cameras? How can I, as a lowly man, stop them? How can I, as one human, stop these things? You can't. You can't as one human. We're going to have to band together and make a big enough deal about this that our cities don't have a choice but to listen to us. That means go to your next town hall meeting and ask about these cameras. Ask, why are they here? What are they doing? What's their purpose? Who has access to the data that they collect? Who can query the data that they collect? Are you transparent when you find that usage of the system has been abused? Is there a public record that I can go inspect myself, whether it's online or by request, of all the time that these things have been accessed? You need to ask these questions. We need to make it such a pain in these municipalities and agencies' asses to have these things that it's not worth the trouble for them anymore. So I'm not telling you to go out and shine lasers into these things' lenses. I'm not telling you to go out and knock them down. I'm not telling you to go out and tell crackheads that there's 40 pounds of copper in each one. All you're gonna do is get yourself in trouble. You're gonna end up in jail, and Flock wins. Boy, would it be nice if it was that easy. But unfortunately, as with most things in life, the path to success usually isn't the easy road. The path to success is the long, boring, what's up, my guy? The path to success is the long, boring road that sucks and is annoying, and that's going to these meetings and asking these questions. If enough of us do this, cities are going to start pulling these things out. So how do I know that there's over 100 of these things in my city? The cool thing is there's a website called dflock.me. You can go there right now and you can zoom in on the map on your city, on your town, and you can see exactly where these things are. Flock doesn't publish this data. Flock has actually called this essentially terrorism towards their company that this website exists, and that makes me very happy. But this is crowdsourced. You can contribute to this map. If you see a new Flock camera that isn't on the map, you can take a picture of it, put in some location information, and send it in to dflock, and they'll add it to the map. Find a way to fight these things, actually do it, and I promise that we can get rid of these things. This is a hot deal right now. This is probably pushed into your algorithm and isn't not even the 10th video you've seen this week about Flock cameras. I guarantee it. Whether you've seen it on Shorts, whether you've seen it on TikTok, Instagram, whatever, you've seen about these things. People are making a big deal about these cameras, and they're not making a big deal for no reason. Every year it seems like America's just gotten more and more restricted. You're being watched in more and more ways. And 9/11, as tragic as it was, and I'm not saying that it's an inside job or anything like that, I'm not a whack job, but that was a big catalyst into this surveillance state that we're slowly becoming. A lot of people were willing to accept, like, oh yeah, okay, well, I gotta go through TSA and they're gonna have these databases on certain people, and you know, it's just all so the terrorists don't hijack another airplane. This is the same thing. People are like, oh, okay, well, I gotta drive past 100 cameras every day that log my every single move, and anyone at any time can know where I live, where I work, where I eat, what my habits are, but it's so we can catch criminals. What's next? What's next, guys? I don't know. I can't predict the future, but it can't be anything good. I don't want to live in a surveillance state where my anonymity, my privacy is a thing of the past. There has to be a point where we finally draw the line and just stop accepting this surveillance that's just shoved down our throats constantly. One camera, not an issue. Security cameras that are offline and only accessible by like a shop owner and don't share data into some giant national centralized database, those are fine. Someone robs the bank, go look at the cameras, go find them with good old-fashioned police work. So please, if you do anything today, if you're at all interested in stopping this surveillance that we're just all under by default, go to Flock's website. Go check it out, read up, go check out Flock Safety's website. There's some scary stuff on there that I'm not even going to cover in this video. If you've ever seen The Terminator, you can probably start seeing the similarities with this system. I'm not saying this is Skynet. I'm not saying that any of these things that I'm even saying are going to come to fruition, but I sure the hell don't want to give them a chance, and I hope you guys don't either. Go check out Flock, see for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Do your research. If you're new here, press that subscribe button, press that like button. Help get this video out. Share this video with your grandma, your aunt, your uncle, your friend, your baby mama, baby daddy. Send this video to them if they don't know what Flock cameras are. Until then, guys, I'm Topher Wheels, signing off. I'll see you guys in the next video.